Welcome, YouTube audience, to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating science of faith healing. We're going to be exploring how Sufi saints healed, the literal biological shifts that are triggered by having absolute faith in an omnipresent God, and how ancient practices of spiritual surrender intersect directly with modern, measurable clinical data. It's a really wild ride, so let's get into it. So right off the bat, you gotta ask yourself, can your physical posture and absolute faith actually literally alter your biology? I mean, we usually think of faith and illness as existing in two entirely different universes, right? But today we're looking at sources that suggest these abstract spiritual concepts, like deep emotional surrender, actually align perfectly with hard clinical science. Here is our agenda for today. We'll be moving through the Mind-Body Connection, Germanic Healing Knowledge, faith and emotional resolution, the neurobiology of prostration, cerebral blood flow dynamics, and finally, bridging spirit and science. Section 1. The Mind-Body Connection. Section 2. Germanic Healing Knowledge. Okay, to really understand this, we need to talk about a major paradigm shift founded by Dr. Hamer, known as Germanic Healing Knowledge, or GHK for short. This framework posits something pretty radical. It suggests that what we commonly call illnesses aren't just random malfunctions or bad luck. They're actually highly meaningful biological responses to distinct psychological traumas or unaddressed emotional shocks. Basically, your body is actively trying to adapt to an emotional crisis. And this whole process unfolds in a massive three-step chain reaction. Step 1, you experience a sudden, unexpected emotional shock. Step 2, your psyche and your brain register this shock at the exact same time. And then step 3, a biological symptom physically manifests in your body. It's like your psyche, your brain, and your physical biology are all operating together as one unified, shape-shifting system. Let's put this into perspective with some specific examples from the source material. According to the GHK framework, unresolved feelings of sudden separation or feeling soiled and attacked are theorized to trigger skin programs, things like breakouts or chronic skin conditions. Or say you're going through a severe financial panic. Well, the body views that as a starvation conflict, which might actually manifest as liver issues. And lower back pain? That's specifically linked to feelings of self-devaluation or a sudden drop in self-worth. It's literally your body trying to strengthen the exact area that feels unsupported. Section 3. Faith and emotional resolution. So the framework essentially contrasts two totally different ways of living. On one hand, you've got the ego. The ego is constantly worrying, trying to micromanage outcomes, and basically carrying the weight of the world on its shoulders, which keeps your body locked in a constant state of sympathetic stress. On the other hand, you have absolute faith. This state of total surrender is historically exactly how Sufi saints healed. By escaping those environmental conflict triggers, much like the incredible peace people find in places like the Ajmer Dargah, believers completely resolve their internal conflicts. This literally signals to the body that the shock is over. Our sources really hit the nail on the head with this concept. Surrendering all your worldly worries to an omnipresent God is proposed as the ultimate antidote to the psychological shocks that trigger disease. It's a complete shift from ego-driven panic to a state of profound gratitude and absolute faith. And by doing this, you're effectively reaching up and switching off your body's biological alarm bells. Section 4. The neurobiology of prostration. Now, this is where the hard clinical data gets absolutely fascinating. We've got 5 distinct, peer-reviewed scientific studies providing empirical data on how physical prostration, specifically the act of sujood, measurably alters brain activity. EEG readings show that in the prefrontal cortex, entropy actually decreases, which means the brain is physically stabilizing. At the same time, we see elevated alpha waves, which are the hallmark of deep, restful relaxation, paired with significant spikes in gamma power, showing intense, focused attention. So here is the real game changer. Physical prostration literally forces your autonomic nervous system to shift gears. It completely dampens sympathetic activity, that anxious, wired fight-or-flight mode, and radically boosts parasympathetic activity. You are physically pulling your body out of an active stress state and locking it directly into a state of physiological repair and rest and digest recovery. Section 5. Cerebral blood flow dynamics. To put this physiological repair into even clearer focus, a clinical study involving 42 healthy volunteers used transcranial Doppler ultrasonography, and they discovered something mind-blowing. There is a massive 23% increase in basilar artery mean blood flow velocity during prostration. Let's break those numbers down. In a normal sitting position, your mean blood flow velocity is hovering right around 39 centimeters per second. But the second you move into prostration, it jumps all the way up to 50. By physically placing your head below your heart, gravity naturally just enhances the delivery of oxygen and nutrients straight to your brain. And the best part? Researchers noted this happens without causing any harmful overperfusion or vasoconstriction. It's just a perfectly calibrated, entirely natural physiological boost. Section 6. Bridging Spirit and Science. So what's the big takeaway from this explainer? Well, it turns out that the abstract practice of escaping conflict, triggers, and surrendering to an omnipresent God, which we see in Sufi traditions and mapped out beautifully by Dr. Hamer's GHK framework, aligns flawlessly with measurable human physiology. Having absolute faith resolves the emotional shock, and the physical act of sujood literally stabilizes your prefrontal cortex. It boosts your cerebral blood flow by 23%, and it shifts your nervous system entirely into a parasympathetic healing state. Your mind, your body, and your posture are all acting as one brilliant system. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. As we continue to uncover these undeniable, measurable connections between our deep-seated beliefs, our physical posture, and our cellular biology, how might modern medicine evolve if we seriously study ancient practices of physical surrender and prayer? It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and stay curious.